Let's turn to business news now with our business editor this week, Giles Beckford. Hi, Giles. The new government is expected to pick up on the issue of high fuel prices. We remember Judith Collins, of course, looking at that in the last government.
Indeed. Good evening to you, John. Yes, you remember the report came out from the Ministry of Business, Innovation and Employment in July, and it concluded that perhaps fuel prices might not be that reasonable. Judith Collins was a good deal more direct. She said that the way that the fuel companies were playing around and imposing changes in fuel prices was quite cynical, and she didn't think that actually consumers were getting a fair go. She did order a further study. One of the criticisms made of the original study was that it was short on information. A couple of the big oil companies didn't want to play ball and participate, or weren't able to for one reason or another. She ordered an update on that report. One of the issues that she alluded to was whether the government should have the power to direct the Commerce Commission, which is the watchdog for competition and consumer fair trading issues, whether it should be able to inquire directly into the way that fuel prices were set, fuel margins, and the barriers to competition. Now, the new minister, Megan Woods, we understand, ordered a quick update. She wanted to see that report by the end of this month. We understand that's due pretty soon on her desk. And from her point of view, she says that Commerce Commission power, the direct inquiry into fuel industry prices, might well be a live issue which she might pick up on. So it's one to watch for. It will be an interesting one to see how direct they want to go in intruding into the sector, which, let's be honest, always attracts a lot of criticism, especially around this time of year.
Yeah, it sure does. Yeah, that will be one to watch. When we covered the Auckland regional fuel tax, we heard from lots of people in the South Island saying, what are you Aucklanders even bleating on about? Well, those people will be delighted about our next discussion point, which is scope for more competition in the South Island fuel market.
Indeed, one of the ancillary issues that comes off that competition for prices and the like is that in the South Island and in the bottom of the North Island, particularly in Wellington, where Gull Petroleum does not operate, then prices are higher.
Yeah. The
presence of Gull is that catalyst that spooks and gives rise to lower prices and competition. Now, we hear quietly that a firm called Timaru Oil Services has just got resource consent from the local district council to set up a 4-tank, 44 million litre fuel, petrol and diesel storage facility. Now, for those who need a point of comparison, it's about the size of what there is here in Wellington at the Seaview tank farm. So it would provide a really good entry point for any new retail organisation that wanted to come in there, such as Gull, because Gull's long complained that it keeps getting locked out and blocked from being able to have fuel storage facilities, and it can't afford to build its own. The interesting thing about Timaru Oil Services is, in fact, that it's backed by a Tahitian firm, a Tahitian businessman, Albert Mu, who runs a company called Pacific Petroleum. Now, he has fuel retailing interests right through the Pacific. And so it's interesting. We don't know. We haven't been able to get any detail from them as to what their intentions are. It's got the initial resource consent. It will take at least a couple of years to build, one would assume. Somewhere in the region of $50 to $60 million, we understand, is the cost of that sort of facility. Just what they intend to do with it, we hope we'll find out. But that's an interesting one that does perhaps promise some hint of competition in the retail sector, at least in the South Island.
Yeah, it is interesting. If anyone knows more about that, text us on 2101 or email checkpoint@radionz.co.nz. Yeah, that's fascinating. What happened on the markets today, Giles?
Well, indeed, if they've got a tip, they can send it to business@radionz.co.nz as
send
well.
It to Checkpoint.
We don't want to be left out, not that we've got any competition here. On the markets, the top 50 index had a strong session in the afternoon, closing up 46 points. That's about 0.5%, at 8176. The New Zealand dollar still a bit on the beleaguered side at 68.6 euro cents and 90.2 Australian. That low currency is one aspect in why fuel prices currently at the petrol pump are at 3-year highs.
Thanks, Giles Beckford, our business editor. Really appreciate it.